Good day everyone. I am Muhammad Noruddin. So I am the first reporter for today. So today I will going to discuss the grading and reporting system of our student or our learner. Grading and reporting. It is the one of the most frustrating aspect of being a teacher is that of grading and reporting student progress. So since there are so many factors to consider and so many decisions to be made, the various type of grading and reporting system of the providing a guidelines for their effective use. So the main aim of the grading system or the grading reporting system is to provide the result in brief, understandable form for the user, which lead to several big questions. So therefore, it is very important that we use to pay attention to the process of giving grade and reporting this to our student and also to parents and especially to other stakeholders in the system. And now we proceed to the function of the grading and reporting system. So grading and reporting system is have a very important function in this educative process. So the first function of the grading and reporting system is the enhancing student learning. Through clarifying instructional objective for them is we are showing students' strengths and weaknesses, providing information on personal social development. So we all know that as a teacher, we need to give learning or we need to have enhance our student learning. It because that is our rule in which to enhance or to give learning to our student. Enhancing student motivation, for example, is short-term goal and indicating where teaching might to be modified. This can be achieved through day-to-day and feedback and integrated periodic tests. So the next function of the grading system is reporting to parents or guardians. So grading and reporting system is also inform parents or guardians of the student on the process of their wards. So it is a very important also that as a teacher, we need to inform or we need to give information to the parents of a student in order for them to know if their children is have improvement of their children is have enhancing or have a development to their academic performance. So likewise, grade and reporting communicative objective parents they can help promote learning and likewise communicate how will objective were met so parents can be better plan. So as I said earlier that reporting to the parents or guardians is also help student and also help teacher to develop their academic performance. The last function of the grading and reporting system is a administrative and guidance uses. So the administrative and guidance purpose of grading and reporting is consists of helping to provide promotion, graduations, honors, athletics, and eligibility, and reporting achieved to other schools or to employees, and also provide output for realistic and educational, vocational, and personal counseling. So these three main purpose of the grading and reporting is by no means is exhaust all possible uses of activity. The main point of this is that grading and reporting card should promote and enhance learning rather than frustrate and discourage the student. So administrative and guidance uses is have a very rule to the student because it can also help them or help the student to develop their academic performance. I think that will be the end of our discussion, and I hope you learn about my topic for today. So our discussion is will be continue to the next reporter. Thank you.
Good evening to each and everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing well. So allow me to introduce myself. I am Carl May Al Salvador, and now I am going to discuss about the types of grading and reporting systems. So we have 6 types of grading and reporting systems. These are the traditional letter grade systems, pass-fail, checklist of objectives, letters to parents or guardians, portfolios, and parent-teacher conferences. So later on, we will discuss it one by one. Now, what do you think is the purpose of grading and reporting systems? Anyone from the group? Okay, so the purpose of a grading system is to give feedback to students so that they can take charge of their learning, as well as to provide information to all those people who support them, like their teachers, special educators, parents, and others. Well, the purpose of reporting system is to communicate the students' achievement, like to their families, post-secondary institutions, and to their employers. So these systems must above all communicate the clear information about the skills of a student, like their mastered skills and to those area where they need more support and practice. So it is very important that schools should ensure that their grading and reporting system can help them build a nurturing, equitable, creative, and dynamic culture of learning. So without further ado, let's start discussing the types of grading and reporting systems. So the first one is the traditional letter grade systems. In traditional letter grade system, students' performances are summarized by means of letters. Again, by means of letters. So a letter grading system is one that uses a letter scale instead of numbers to categorize the students' grades. So like for example, in a report card, letter A is equivalent to 91 points. Letter B is 81 to 90 points. Letter C is equivalent to 71 to 80 points. And letter D is equivalent to 61 to 70 points. So these letter grades are also often ascribed a qualitative description. So for instance, letter grade E and above means passed. Letter grade F means fail. Letter grades C and D are average. Letter grade B is above average. And letter grade A is outstanding. So the traditional letter grade system is easy to understand. However, it is limited value when it is used as the sole report because they end up being a combination of achievement, effort, work habits, and behavior of a student. It means it is a generalized evaluation of the teacher. So it is difficult to understand and interpret what are the strengths and weaknesses of the students. So the second type of grading and reporting systems is the pass-fail. So the pass or fail system utilizes a dichotomous grade system. It's either a student has complied and reached certain standards, in which case he passes, or he failed to do so, and he gets a failing mark. So this is popular in some courses in college, but not very much applied in basic education. Like in college education, GPA is not affected by any pass-fail courses as long as you finish the semester with a passing grade. So if you passed, the course units will count toward your graduation requirements with no effect on your GPA. However, if you failed, your GPA can be harmed severely. So in fact, the pass-fail system should be kept to a minimum because it does not provide much information since students tend to work to the minimum or they tend to work just to pass the subject or the course. And in mastery learning courses, there is no grades reflected until mastery threshold is reached. So that would be for the pass-fail system. The third type of grading and reporting system is the checklist of objectives. In this system, the objectives of the course are enumerated. After each objective, the student's level of achievement is indicated, like outstanding, very good, good, fair, or poor. So checklist states a specific criteria or objectives that allow teachers and students to gather information and to make judgments about what students know and can do in relation to the outcomes. So they offer systematic ways of collecting data about specific behaviors, knowledge, and skills of the students. So checklists of objectives is a very detailed reporting system and tends to be more informative for parents and pupils at the same time. However, it is very time consuming to prepare because teacher needs to evaluate each of the students' performances. Also, in this system, there is a potential problem of keeping the list manageable and understandable. So it is very important that teachers should use a simple formats that can be understood by students and that will communicate information about students' learning to their parents. So teachers must ensure that the characteristics and descriptors listed are clear, specific, and observable. So the fourth one is the letters to parents or guardians. So letters to parents and guardians are useful supplement to grades. Instead of grades, letters is used to communicate the performances and progress of their children in school. So if a teacher decides to create such a letter, it will also be important to determine the most effective way it can be delivered. Like for example, it could be a hard copy of the letter, could be mailed directly to the parents or guardians, or a hard copy could be given to each student to deliver to her or to his parents, or an electronic copy could be sent to the email to the parents or guardians if a teacher has access to the appropriate technology. However, they have limited value solo report because it is very time consuming to prepare. And in this type of system, it is possible that parents and guardians could misinterpret information from the letter that are given by the teachers. So that would be for the letters to parents and guardians. The fifth one is the portfolios. So a portfolio is a set of purposefully selected works with commentary by student and a teacher. So portfolios are useful for showing students' strengths and weaknesses, illustrating range of students' work, showing progress over time or stages of a project, and also teaching students about objectives or standards they use to meet. So arranging the course around portfolios can also help you as a teacher, can help us to meet the students' divergent needs. So one of the greatest benefits of a portfolio system is that it allows a student to draft and revise a work several times over a long period of time before submitting it for evaluation. So in other words, a student can set aside their work, get some distance, and learn some pertinent skills and return it to a better, or more knowing work. So in this system, students will be graded based on their process work, participation, and final output. The last but not the least is the parent-teacher conferences. So parent-teacher conferences are mainly used in elementary schools. This requires that parents of pupils come for a conference with a teacher to discuss the pupil's progress. Di ba dati during elementary and high school days, may PTA meeting every grading period? Like merong recognition day, then after that is classroom meeting with parents and a teacher. So a parent-teacher conference helps to communicate to parents the areas that their child are excelling in and to give them specific ideas of how to improve upon their child's performance in school. So these meetings allow teachers to give advice and support to parents, and conversely, for parents to ask questions and make suggestions about how the school can better support their child's development. So teacher-parent conferences should be used as a platform to make a lasting bond with the parent to increase the likelihood of academic success for their child. It should not be used as a venue to acknowledge the flaws and the inabilities of students, but it should be used as a stepping stone to foster improvement within each child. So that would be for parent-teacher conferences. So that concludes my discussion. I hope you've learned something from it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
Para sa atong balitang lokal, baha sa Samar ni Baha. Kini na balita ihatag kaninyo sa atong field reporter, Telma. Tel? Asa? Tel? Asa naman mo?
Yes, Karina, naami diri akaron sa bangkaan.
Naapaghihapon mo sa bangkaan? Kagayin na naman mo diha, awag hapon mo kasakay.
Nagpaabot paghihapon mi na makasakay mi, Karina, kay wala kay masakyan na bangka karon.
Unsa man manglangoy mo, apason ta mo
Ay, manglangoy na lang mi, Karina.
Tadali. Hello, Tel, asa naman mo? Asa naman mo?
Yes, Karina, no naata diri akaron sa lugar kung sige nahitabo ang baha. Og makita gyud nato kung unsa na kalalom ang baha, ang tubig tagaliog na nako hapit kung anita diri ana part. Wa na gyud tay makita ng mga balay-balay diri akan mo kay nilubog na gyud siya. Busa karon
So, pila man ka buok balay ang nilubog sa baha?
so far, Karina, no wala pa gyud nako naihap kung pila gyud ka balay ang nilubog sa baha.
Salong manadayon ninyo para maihap. Unsa pa may gilangan-langanan?
Yes, Karina, magpaabot lang mo kay ako yung salumon karon na dayon.
Hagbay pang sinalumay. Kagae na rata na to. Giing natan mo na magsayo at tuon tayo ninyo samtang tagatuhon pa ang baha. Karon saan man na? Lapas na sa ato. Unya nga sige na tayo sinalumay. Sige nagpaabot. Absanta mo di haron. May kanta mo ha?
Yes, Karina, no sa akong pag-ihap na 652 ka mga balay ang nilubog tungod sa baha.
Pila man kasakyanan ang natrap sa ilalom.
Akong balikot.
Ngano wala man ninyo
Ay,
tawon
wala ko na
ihap.
ako napil-ihap, Karina.
Balikan yun na ninyo.
Okay, ato
Ihap
siyang
na.
ihapon. Paabot lang.
Mang Cars, manguli na may
Ay, mangulit na. Sige, una lang sa ako. Abutan lang na ako na mahumanin na report.
Yes, Karina, naihap na gyud nato ang sakyanan na 230 kasakyanan na naa sa ilalom. So far, wala man sila nang anod.
Na-check ba nimo ang balay ni Mayor? Grabe to ka-importante ba ya?
Ay, wala.
O, i-check ang balay
Wala
ni
na
Mayor.
ako
Kaya na yung
sinecheck.
mga papers dito na grabe ka-importante.
Okay. Sige, ato siyang salumon. Atong i-check kung okay ra ba gyud ang balay ni Mayor. Okay, paabot lang mo ha.
Hello.
Karina.
Unsa na may update dira?
Ay, sorry Karina, kay nakatagpilaw ko. Unsa gali to?
Ang balay ni Mayor! Asa man dahi ka karon?
Oo, na ako diri asa Samar.
Nganong naabot bang kadihan niya? Wala man dira ang baha! Samar! Ako
Ay, nara sa Samar.
nagpataka na
Sige.
yun ay sila karon.
Wala ko na lang sad ko.
Una laglangoy taon sa apas rami.
Hello everyone, I am Sarah and this is the continuation of our discussion, which is all about the development of grading and reporting systems, with the following assigning letter grades and computing grades, norm or criterion reference grading. Grading and reporting systems are guided by the functions to be served by such educative process. The system will most probably be a compromise because of the host of factors to be considered in preparation of such. The important thing to note, however, is that we should always keep achievement reports separate from effort expended. Ideally, grading and reporting systems should be developed cooperatively by parents, students, and school personnel in order to ensure the development of a more adequate system and a system that is understandable to all. First, it must be based on a clear statement of learning objectives. When we say clear statement of learning objectives, it is the grading and reporting system need to be based on the same set of learning objectives that the parents, teachers, and students agreed at the beginning. Next is the consistent with school standards, where is the system must support the school standards instead of opposing the school standards that are already set. Next is the based on adequate assessment. In this part, the grading and reporting system should be easily verifiable through adequate systems of testing, measurement, and assessment methods. Another is based on the right level of detail. When we say the right level of detail, it is the system must be detailed enough to be diagnostic but compact enough to be practical. It should be not too much time consuming to prepare and use, understandable to users, and easily summarized for school records purposes. Probably means a letter grade system with more detailed supplementary reports. Other than that is provide for parent-teacher conferences as needed, regularly scheduled for elementary school as needed as high school. Next is assigning letter grades and computing grades. Grades are assigned to students must include only achievement. It is very important to avoid the temptation to include the effort of less able students because it is difficult to assess effort or potential, and it is difficult to distinguish ability from achievement. Aside from that, if achievement and effort are combined in some way, grades don't mean same thing for everyone. It will bring mixed message or unfair for their parts. Grades reflected on report cards are numbers or numerical quantities arrived at after several data on the student's performance are combined. The following guidelines may be considered in combining such data. Properly weight each component to create composite. The weights used are normally agreed upon by the school officials. Example, how many percent goes for quizzes, unit test, periodic test, or etc. The more scientific approach is to use a principal components analysis which is hardly practical in schools because of the difficulty involved. Put all components on same scale to rate properly and equate ranges of scores or convert all to t-scores or other standard scores. Next is norm or criterion reference grading. Grades may reflect relative performance. Example, score compared to other students where you rank. This is more commonly called a norm reference grading system. Grade like a class rank depends on what group you are in, not just your own performance. Typical grades may be shifted up or down depending on group's ability. Widely used because much classroom testing is norm reference. Absolute score um, absolute score compared to specified performance standards or what you can do. Grades may also reflect to absolute performance. Example, score compared to specified performance standards. This is more commonly called a criterion reference grading. Grades does not depend on what group you are in, but only on your own performance compared to a set of performance standards. Grading is a complex task because grades must clearly define the domain, clearly define and justify the performance standards, be based on criterion reference assessment. In this part, conditions are hard to meet except in complete mastery learning settings. Finally, grades may also reflect learning ability or improvement performance score compared to learning potential or past performance. In this part, grades are inconsistent with the standards-based system because now Each child or student has his or her own standard. Reliably estimating learning ability or separate from achievement is very difficult. One cannot reliably measure change with classroom measures, therefore, should only be used as a supplement. Evening everyone, I am the reporter entitled Distribution of Grades and Guidelines for Effective Grading. So, let's first discuss the distribution of grade as well as known that grading is the most challenging part of becoming a teacher or being a teacher, because sometimes grade can be the issue for the parents or for the student, and sometimes it could be result a conflict between parents and teacher or between student and the teacher. That is why as a teacher we should be careful distributing our grades to the student. So there are actually two categories that a teacher can use in distributing the grades to their students. This is the norm reference. This is a system of grades that determines student achievements or course goals and relation to other students in the course. So, in this category, as the student is evaluated relatively to the performance of the other student within the group, or you will need to compare the performance of one specific student to the other student in the class, yung score ng isang student or instance sa score ng iba. Ang kagandahan nito sa norm reference is relative performance. It is very easy to use. That is why most of the teacher are following or using this kind of distributing grades. And then it is very appropriate to large number of students. So kung marami yung student mo, ito yung gamitin in distributing the grades to them, and then it's very useful in focusing is the achievement of the student, but meron din itong disadvantage because this category does not encourage cooperative among the students. So the next category in distributing of grades is the criterion reference or absolute grading system. It is an absolute grading system that have assessed absolute level and knowledge, not in an issue, or seldom use letter grades alone, or often include checklists of what has been mastered, and distribution of grade is not predetermined. In this category, a teacher is assessing the student level of knowledge, so the standing of the student will be compared to a set of standard or list of accomplishments. So parang ang magiging standing ng students will be based or nakadepende siya sa kung ilan na yung mga na-accomplish na ng mga standard or accomplish na ginawa ng isang teacher. Kung magamit din siya ng letter or grade, so parang applicable dito yung pass or fail grading system na parang it's either you pass or you fail. And then often include checklists of what has been mastered, so parang list of different kind of achievements, for instance master reading comprehensive. So parang ang different ng dalawang is the norm difference is that the comparison based in the average performance of the other, and then the criterion reference is the comparison based on the set of standard by the teacher. So let's move on to the guidelines for effective grading. So these are the things should do or tips on how we can distribute grades to our student effectively on or what they actually deserve. So first, we need to explain the grading procedure to our students. So kailangan maging aware ang mga students kung saan nagmumula o sa kanilang grades. Of course, we should to be clear that the grades will only based on their achievements para ma-aware sila kung yung grades na yan is for achievements only. So, describe grading procedures to students at the beginning of the instruction. So, B, clarify that course our grade will be based on the achievements only. So, C, explain how other factors will be reported, and D, relate relate grading procedures to intended learning outcomes, and E. Obtain valid evidence for assessing grades. F. Prevent cheating and jitters. Return and review all test results as soon as possible, and H. Properly weight and various types of achievement includes in the grade. So next is conducting parents-teacher conference. So why would we need to conduct a parents-teacher conference? So this is because it is a great opportunity to discuss the student academic progress and social behaviors. Of course, this is an opportunity para ma-inform niyo yung mga parents about the students, their student academic achievements. So here are some tips to effectively conduct a parents-teacher conference. So first is make a plan. For the conference, of course, dapat planan din na lahat. You have to say the goals to the conference, yung arrangement ng program, pagkasunod-sunod kung meron ka bang activities para sa teacher or parents. And second, this is start positive, of course. You have to start the conference with a positive way. For example, making a positive statement and about the students. Third, encourage parents to participate and share information. So, kahit isa rin sa purpose in conducting parents-teacher conference yung magkukuha ka ng information from the parents about to the student or their children, and also you are willing to listen to the parents and share information rather than talking to them. Of course, di lang ikaw yung magsasalita, di lang ikaw yung magbibigay ng information about, rather you also receive essential information from the parents regarding their students para lubos mo silang makilala ang isang students. Fourth, plan action cooperatively. Of course, when you already describe the areas need to improve to your student, you have to take action or take precaution. So fifth is the end with the positive comments. Of course, you will end the conference na given ka ng positive comments. For example, by saying thank you for coming to the parents and teacher conference, and also say a good comments to the student for them to for example, don't worry kasi we'll have work together, pwedeng ma-improve and progress regarding their performance academically. And the last one is the use good human relation skills during the conference. Of course, dapat maganda ang pagkikipag-relation natin sa parents kasi you will need to work together for you to be a better teacher. I hope you learn a lot, and thank you for listening. God
not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets, it's my skin. brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me.